How long is it going to take you to adapt to the carnivore diet? Let's get into it. Hey, what's shaking bacon? My name's Bruno Panucci. I hope you're doing well. So adapting to the carnivore diet can be difficult for some people, more so than others. Well, you're dealing with sugar and carbohydrate withdrawal. If you can knock that food out of your diet and not really feel any different, well, that's a great place to be, because most people, in my experience, deal with a sort of withdrawal symptom, at least one or two, headaches, tiredness, they feel lethargic, they just don't have the energy, and they can't get their minds off the foods they can't eat. If you're dealing with some of those symptoms, you're probably dealing with sugar and carbohydrate withdrawal, which means you're addicted. I know it seems like a strong word to use, isn't it? Addiction when it comes to food. But it's true. What happens is you can't do it and you can't control it. So when you're eating food that isn't good for you and is causing your body harm, and you can't cut it out, you can't manage it, you can't portion size it, you can't regulate it, however it is you're trying to do that, you can't do it, that's an addiction. So this can be a difficult process for people. What happens is the first couple days, you're going to go through those symptoms I was talking about. You're going to feel like I know in my experience, I would get a headache usually within the first day, usually by mid-afternoon. I could do okay for the morning. I could do okay by the afternoon, but it's almost like the same symptoms as cutting out caffeine. So I would start to get a headache and I could get rid of it by taking a nap. Fortunately, I had the type of schedule where I was able to take a nap partway through the days some days. But I had a flexible schedule that I could make myself for the most part. So if I was going into this way of eating, I could manage it by making sure to give myself time to take a nap. I found it gave a great reset to my body, and I'd wake up and that headache would be gone. It was like a dull ache behind my eyes and in my temples. And that's just withdrawal symptoms. So I would feel that again by the evening, by about 7 or 8 o'clock. But fortunately, I would just go to bed early. Now you're going to have cravings, and that's going to be where willpower comes in, because you can't give in to the cravings. You have to go a long while when it comes to adapting to the carnivore diet when you're trying to cut out sugar and sweets. Your energy is going to be off because you don't have these highs and lows, so your blood sugar is going to be off. Your body is just adjusting. You have to give it some time. And in the first few days, your body's not going to know how to take this, and your blood sugar might be a little screwy. So if you're dealing with diabetes and you're concerned about this, you may want to consult a nutritional consultant or get yourself a blood glucose monitor. You don't want your blood sugar to get too low. So what I recommend is just taking it easy for those first couple days. I recommend actually doing it on the weekend, whatever your weekend is. Lots of people work different hours and different jobs, but when you have 2 days off in a row, start it then, so that when you go to work on day 3, you're not dealing with all this stuff and it's going to make you feel like crap. So try and start it on a day when you're going through a very light schedule. I personally recommend cold turkey. Some people might say ease into it, but that's if you're not dealing with sugar and carbohydrate addictions. If you're going into a carnivore diet and you don't really miss carbohydrates or sugar and you don't have any physical symptoms when you stop doing that, then I think it's fine. And in the first couple of weeks, just have limited carbohydrates. So stick to fruits and vegetables just for a while. Cut out all the breads and the grains and everything. But if you deal with any sort of sugar or carbohydrate addiction, you have to go cold turkey, in my opinion. Going cold turkey is a little tougher for the first week or so, but after that, it's smoother and smoother sailing as you go along. So anything sweet tasting is off the list. Any artificial sweeteners, just because they're zero carb, are off the list. It doesn't matter that they're zero carb. You want to get rid of any sugar as well as anything sweet tasting. So I do recommend staying busy and distracted. That'll really help with any of the physical side effects you go through. Anyone who's cut out coffee, it sort of feels like you're cutting out coffee, the same sort of withdrawal symptoms. And just don't forget to make time for yourself. Listen to your body. If you feel like you need to just close your eyes for a little bit, give yourself that time. Give yourself that permission. Treat yourself good. You're doing a change for the better for your body, and you have to make sure your body's going to resist you on this for the first little bit. You have to make sure that you don't cheat, no matter what. You don't give in to cravings at all. It's going to be really difficult, but I know you can do it. You just have to prepare yourself for this. And one of the best ways, in my opinion, is to stay full. Don't just eat what you're supposed to eat on a carnivore diet. Eat a lot of it just for the first little while, maybe just for the first few weeks. Even if you were to put on weight, don't worry, it's going to slide off easily, but I can almost guarantee you won't, because you're going to go from a standard American diet where your body is inflamed, and that's probably why you're trying this carnivore way of eating, or you're going from a subpar standard American diet, and that's where I came from. And what happens is just eating more clean, real food, your body is automatically just going to start running better. You may not feel that way at first while you're going through withdrawal, but your body is going to have a cleaner calorie input all through the day. You're cutting down to just protein and fat, and you're cutting out carbohydrates. Not only do you not need carbohydrates in your diet, and sugar is a carbohydrate, you're going to thrive eventually. It's not going to take long. You just have to get over that hump. There's going to be a few humps in the beginning, and that's the biggest, hardest one, the first 3 days, the physical withdrawals. Do yourself a favor and don't take a nap too close to bed. No closer than 5 hours before you go to bed. I don't want you to take a nap. Drink lots of water. Don't drink so much that you start getting leg cramps or anything like that. Drink till your urine is lemonade color, not clear. If your urine is clear, you're overhydrating. You're flushing out minerals. You don't want that. Within the first week or two, you might go through some diarrhea. So you can manage your water a little bit to manage that, but that's just your body flushing out water because your body's not holding on to the water in the cells. Carbohydrates hydrate your cells. So the leading theory as to why we get diarrhea in the first week or two, sometimes 3, is this. So one way you can combat that, if you need to, have some cheese, not too much, just enough to kind of slow things up. You know what I'm talking about? Cheese usually constipates people. So this is one of the few exceptions if you're trying to do it for weight loss, where cheese and dairy might be something that's beneficial for you just to combat the diarrhea. So we're combating dehydration, sleep, poor energy, diarrhea, and blood sugar so far. We want to keep all these things in check. If the diarrhea is getting to be an issue, eat leaner. I don't recommend doing that too much for too many days in a row, but try doing a leaner form of carnivore just for a day here or a day there. Maybe stay away from red meat and have a little bit more turkey or chicken. See what you can do. Maybe have one day where you're having more of the white meats and another day where you're having more fats, and see how your body feels with that. It's just going to be temporary, so don't worry about it. By staying full with fat and protein though, you're going to help to keep your blood sugar regulated. And keeping your blood sugar regulated is going to help with your energy levels. So after the first 2 or 3 days of these horrible side effects of withdrawal go away, your energy should start getting better because you're getting enough food. Don't starve yourself, especially in the beginning. Make sure you're getting enough food. If you're a guy, if you're getting less than, say, 2,000 calories a day, you might be doing it wrong. A woman, if you're getting less than 17 or 1,800 calories a day, you're probably doing it wrong. You got to make sure you're getting enough, especially if you're overweight. That's not too many calories. Remember, we're going for quality of food, not quantity. So quantity is good in the beginning, but because you're replacing a lot of bad quality foods, you might have been having 3 or 4 or 5,000 calories of junk food in a day with your regular meals, all in total. And then all of a sudden you cut down to 3,000 calories of meat, and you're worried about the amount of calories you're getting, you're off. You're thinking with the wrong mindset. When it's clean calories, your body can afford to have more clean calories than crappy calories in a day. So calories is not equal. The whole theory of calories is something we can get into in another video, but that's just a way of measuring energy. It's not an actual reliable number to go by. Now, when you have a fine-tuned metabolism, it's something you can pay a little more attention to. I'd really only look at it from a general point of view. If you're way low or way over, and maybe you've been at a weight stall, maybe you can start looking into something like that. But for now, eat intuitively. Stay satiated, stay full. When you stay full, it's going to help manage all these cravings that you're going to have. So for the first month at least, I want you to stay full. After that, it's really a mind game, and you're really just dealing with the habit of junk food. I used to have the habit on long weekends to have junk food, whether it was restaurant food or just junk food. I used to have the habit of getting some when I went into the one particular grocery store all the time. I'd have the habit of having Sunday after my food from a restaurant. So I would have ice cream when I was coming home from work. Whatever it was a habit, and you have to get out of that mindset. And it takes a good 3 months, in my opinion, 3 months minimum for you to sort of break those habits. So what happens is, say 2 months into it or 4 months into it, you think, I'm doing pretty good. What's one bite going to do? And what happens is you find out you're like an alcoholic at that point, and that one bite leads to falling off the wagon. And you don't want to do that. So don't give in to those temptations. Stay strict, stay strong. And just remember, you're not the only one going through this. A lot of people have gone through this. It takes quite a few tries to break an addiction. Some people can do it first try. Lots of people, it takes longer. I was probably more like a dozen times before I finally broke that addiction. And the one time I broke it for a year. And then I went back to it. And then after that, I was on and off and on and off again for a really long time. So you're not alone in this journey. If you need any help, please reach out. Don't ever hesitate. Reach out, ask me in the comments, and I'll see what I can do to help you along and tailor it to whatever advice you need. There's also a Kelly Hogan. I highly recommend seeking out Kelly Hogan. She's a carnivore coach out there. She's been a 14-year carnivore. Her anniversary is coming up in just a month or two. And she is someone who has a lot of experience dealing with sugar withdrawals, and she's been through it herself. She's had an amazing success on this carnivore journey. I highly recommend you check her out. I usually put her link in my videos below. Anyway, thanks a lot. Take care.